Hey, what's up everybody? Radex here, the one from 72, the ultra neutral. And I just got done doing my meditation this morning. Like I do every morning after the Dragon Healer taught me. You know, trying to find that peace. That's really what it's pretty much about for me. Because I typically don't find peace, right? Like, since I was born, I feel I've always been kind of in a war, right? Like, it's always felt like it's not me against the world, but the world against me in a lot of ways. Um, you guys already know that I'm biracial. You know that I don't choose a side. I don't choose. I learned early on as a child, you know, that choosing the black side or choosing the white side, you know, is a hypocrisy in its own, right? Like that would be, it wouldn't even make any sense. You know, to choose a side doesn't make a sense, especially when you're one of both, right? So, like, what's the purpose in that? Nothing. You know, other than that there's been people throughout my life that have tried to push me to choose a side. Do you know on my license, I've had licenses that said white, and I've had licenses that said black. Like, and I've had friends that just laugh because I would show them, like, on my license, like, hey, look, this one says white, and then, like, I got a new one, and now it says black. Like, what is that? You know what I mean? This a problem with the system, right? Like, the system has an issue because, you know, of trying to force you to choose one side or the other, to pit one side against the other. That's like pitting yourself against yourself. It just doesn't make any sense. And I'm going to say some very unpopular things today on this video, so pay attention because you might get pissed off and you might never want to come back, because my views come from that. My views come from a neutral position, a position that is not of, you know, of one race versus the other at all. So I don't choose that in anything, right? Like, you know, like political views. I remember a friend of mine when I was a young adult, and his parents were very wealthy. He was wealthy. He grew up as a wealthy kid. You know, he completely trashed his life, trashed everything, you know, but whatever, you know, because he had wealth and he just didn't care, and he was always getting bailed out. But, you know, I look at him now, and now he's homeless, and he's missing all his teeth, and he's all jacked up looking, and he just hasn't taken care of himself because he just had that cushy, privileged life that he just kind of wasted and threw away because his parents were always bailing him out. But I had asked them, you know, years ago when I was a young adult, when I was trying to understand politics because there was stuff that was going on. I think this is back when Clinton was running again or something, running for re-election. I think that's how long ago it was. And I said, what party would I be? And they said, oh, you're definitely a Democrat. And they only said that because of the fact that of my skin color and because of, you know how much money I didn't have in my bank account, right? Like, they're wealthy, and they're I wouldn't say if they're completely white because they, you know, they're actually Jewish, but so anyhow, yeah, so they automatically labeled me, yeah, you're a Democrat. You know, didn't even ask me on views or anything like that. So, you know, so then as I got older and I realized, and I started digging more into the politics stuff, and I was just like, both sides have good points, and both sides have, you know, atrocities, you know, that are done to their own people and to the opposition. And it's like, don't you get it? Like, don't you get? I was like, so I knew that choosing a party was a bad idea, right? Like, it was a bad idea. And it's like, I don't know how people don't understand that, but whatever. So, you guys already know why I'm talking about this video. You already know why why I'm talking about this today. You know why. Because yesterday was the commission, and we heard a lot of stuff. So, this morning I listened to C-SPAN, and I listened to people get on, you know, because I like listening to C-SPAN because you can hear both sides of people, you know, giving their opinions, you know, and you just hear, like, the hate on both sides, right? And, like, it's just, It's absurd. But here's the unpopular thing that I'm going to say, and you've already seen this in the title, and I'm going to say this right now. Maybe YouTube will take it down and won't let me say it because, you know, there's this need to control your thoughts, control what you're supposed to like, who you're supposed to like, and what you're supposed to say and what you're not supposed to say. And I think that that is the reason why things like the 6th happen. I think that's the reason why things like the riots that happened last year. I think that's the reason why you have mass shootings. Because when you're suppressing people to express themselves, even if it's in the most ignorant, most hateful, most disgusting, despicable way, when you suppress them from actually getting those things out and saying those things, and you cut them off from social medias and stuff like that, and they're not allowed to say what they want to say, it forces them into those, you know, backroom, you know, get-togethers where they find people who are of like mind, where they can talk about, where they have to say this in secret and be angry. And it makes them angry, and then it makes it to where it has these blow-ups. This is like, it's basic. Like, what is wrong with the humans in this country that they don't get it? It's just, it's basic. If you suppress somebody long enough, on both sides, you suppress them long enough and you don't let them speak, and you don't let them say what they got to say, of course, there's going to be eventually a blow up. There's going to be a 6. There's going to be riots. There's going to be looting. There's going to be mass shootings. You know, this is what, it's not a mental illness. It's a systematic illness, because the system has created this. It's a creation of what the system has made, okay? So here's the unpopular thing that I'm going to say, and I've said this before, and you may have heard this in my videos before, that people have the right to be a racist, right? You have the right to call me the N-word. You have the right as a black person to call me, you know, the C word, you know, to call me, you know, whatever on either side. And I've heard it from both sides, right? I've heard white people, I'm just going to say, you know, just going to say it. I've had white people, you know, straight up say, hey, I don't like you because you're a nigger. I had black people tell me, you know, hey, I don't like you because you're a cracker, you're half cracker, you know, can't trust white people. I've heard that so much in my life from the black community, right? And especially and I'll get to this in a second, but you know, I've heard this goose is just coming right. He's coming right up to me. Hey, buddy. Okay. How you doing? All of these creatures are being victimized by this bullshit of these humans, right? Like, all creatures should be able to, we should be able to be in sync with them, but we have removed ourselves from them because we exploit them, right? So that's the reason why there's no synchronicity. It's the reason why you can't understand them and they can't really understand you. Hey, buddy. Okay, I gotta get back to this video. he's just, I mean, he's literally like, I don't know, about, I don't know, 4 foot from me. He's right there. He's standing there checking me out. I'm not standing on a nest or anything, he's just over there checking me out. So, I've heard it from both sides, guys, and people have the right to, and if they're not able to express themselves, they're not able to come out and say, you know, I don't like you because you're half black, I don't like you because you're half white. You know, I've also heard that from, and women are the most dangerous. And you heard that yesterday at the commission, you know, right? Like, the black guy was saying, you know, that as they were talking, and he said that he voted for Biden or something, he said a woman in a pink shirt, he was the first one to come out and call him a nigger, you know? And when she said that, she got the men in an uproar, got everybody else in an uproar. You know, women are definitely more dangerous than men, for sure. Like, they replacing, hey, you got a bug on your head. Are you gonna come over here? You want me to shut up, don't you? I don't have anything to feed you. Come on. That's how close he is. He wants me to shut up. You want me to shut up? You want me to protect you? Just gonna lay there, huh? People just take a step back and just, just stop. Just stop. Stop suppressing each other. Stop, hurting each other. And if you don't like people because you have racist issues towards them, then that's fine. Tell them that. I don't think that you should be suppressed and stopped from saying what you don't want to say. But I don't think it's not right to victimize people because of your hatred and your racism. That's wrong. It's completely wrong to victimize other people because you have racist issues. But there's nothing wrong with actually coming out and saying how you feel. Because once you come out and you say how you feel, why I don't like you because of X, Y, and Z, then the discussions can begin. And the discussions need to not be on a defense of anger. The discussion needs to be on a understanding. Try to understand why these people hate you, or hate this race. And it's better if you don't just use, a black person trying to explain to a white person how they feel, but you have white people who understand how black people feel that can speak to other white people and explain to them how they feel, and vice versa, because there is a lot of hatred and a lot of racism in the black community too. And it's usually, I'm going to say this and people are not going to like it, it's unpopular, but it comes from a lot of black women. There are a lot of black women who are just, I work with one of the women that I work with. She's black and she's just as racist as they come, and I know when she looks at me and she speaks to me, she thinks that I am an abomination. So here's the thing, right? You're hearing this from somebody who is biracial. I'm telling you that I've heard it from both sides. I've heard women on both sides, women who are mothers who have children of their own, who have said, that being biracial, you should not exist. You should not exist. As if a male sperm from one race and a female's eggs from another race should not work. Like, what does this make any sense? So I've heard it from both sides. I've heard it from, black women say that, and I've heard white women say it. And I'm telling you that as a biracial man that, look at this. This guy just sit down, just cleaning himself. Just comfortable with me. I mean, the ducks are too, because they're not that far away. This is not a place where people feed don't really feed them, so it's not like you're just sitting right there. You're just comfortable over here with me. It's like he's gonna go to sleep. I was trying to make this a 12-minute video, but it's just not the case. Sorry guys. Yeah, I really wanted to make this a 12-minute video, but there's just there's a lot to talk about. So, yeah, you hear it from both, right? So, how do you fix it, right? How do you fix it? You don't. There is no way to fix it. There's no way to fix the racism. It has to be done from within. The person has to actually come to the terms with, you're not going to get rid of all the black people on the planet. You're not going to get rid of all the... Oh, those two ducks are fighting. I've never seen a duck fight. It's actually comical. It's smacking around their bills at each other. I never actually seen that. That's the humans right now. It's like, that's a good metaphor right there, right? Like, it's a good example, right? Like, those two ducks can. Oh, the ducks are all riled up today. The ducks can beat the hell out of each other, but I don't think in one duck is there ever a duck murder by another duck? Like, has that ever happened? Like, duck murders? I don't know. Like, one duck murder another duck? I have no idea. This one's just hanging out. They're here cleaning stuff. He feels comfortable over here with me. I wonder where his flock is. You know, usually these, the goose, they usually are in a big group with a flock. And he has none. He's alone. Maybe he feels some kind of connection to me. I don't know. Maybe it's a she. Maybe she, now see, I couldn't, now see, that's an abomination, right? Like a human trying to mate with a bird, right? Like, that just doesn't happen. But to say, you know, that somebody who is, and I'm not speaking of this, and please don't think that I'm talking about this as in a position of victim, of being a victim. I'm not a victim of it, okay? I don't look at it that way. Actually, I've been waiting for the race war my entire life. My entire life. Like, I've been waiting for a race war. I like, people say, oh, it's never gonna happen, it's never gonna happen. And I've been telling people my whole life, I said, it's gonna happen. Because the people who tell me it's not gonna happen are people who are either white or they're either black. They're either one or the other. I'm telling you as somebody from a position of in the middle, and I have had friends who are extremely racist against black people who have been my friend. They're like, oh, well, it's okay, man, because, you know, you're half white. You know, they look at more of the white side of me, you know. And I've had black friends who, and actually one that I just recently don't talk to as much anymore, who is really racist against white people. Don't trust white people, don't do business with white people. You know what? Here's what's funny. In my karate school, I had a student who was an ex-white supremacist, and he swears he's not racist anymore, but he's actually still racist because he would say racist things and he don't realize it. But I never said anything or checked him on. I just let him say what he had to say. And I had a friend who was taking karate from me who's black, and he's also racist towards white people, you know. They don't realize that they have racist issues. Because, you know, they won't do, like, they consider themselves to, both of them, okay, so let me put it out this way, making it real easy for you. Both of them, without saying to one or the other, have said, the white guy said that that's why he never conducts business with black people at all, because they always try to rip him off. They don't want to pay because he owned a business. They don't want to pay, and they always try to rip him off. And then the black guy who was at my karate school said the same exact thing. Now, he didn't know that the white guy said that, but he said the same exact thing. That's why I don't trust white people, and I don't like conducting business with white people. They're greedy, and they'll try to rip you off. They both said the same thing about one another. But when they met each other, and you know, they took karate together, and they did like a lesson or two or whatever together, they, you know, got along, you know. That's the problem. See, they're not talking across the aisle, right? Like, if those two guys were to get together and say, hey, I don't trust doing business with black people, and this is why. And then the blacks they say, well, I don't trust doing business with white people, and this is why. Then they go, oh man, shit, that's the same thing. Well, I mean, you know, maybe it's just because it's just the people that you've done business with, right? Like, obviously, you're not trusting one another because you've ran across the wrong people to do business with on both sides. And that's just really what it comes down to. Don't tell me if you're white, you've never been ripped off by somebody white. And don't tell me if you're black, you've never been ripped off by somebody who's black. I don't believe that at all. It's just on both sides. Also, the white guy told me, because, and I dealt with a lot of racism in that, owning a karate school, and, you know, and getting married to a woman who lived in a small town, which and I told her I didn't want to ever live in a small town, you know, and that was just, I'm not blaming anybody, but, you know, we went in a small town where she's from, you know, that's where she wanted to open up the business, and I opened up the business, and yeah, I dealt with racism there, and I had people try to cause problems because they didn't like the fact that, by the way, and I'm not black, but, you know, I'm just going to say, you know, for their, you know, what their perspective is. They don't like the fact that there's a black guy who owns a business in their town. There were no other black people in that town, let alone no other black business owners. When you open, especially my school was very massive, very big. And when you own something like that, and it was one of the biggest stores, businesses in the town, the karate school I had. And when you own something like that, and there's some underlying racist issues with people, and they come and they see this person which they consider black and successful, and they have issues going on in their own life, maybe they're not doing so well or whatever, it makes them even more angry, and they try to figure ways to try to pull that person down. We want to run that nigger out of town. That is their sole purpose. Every day they drive by, every day that they go to the store down the street where they can see the place, every time is a reminder of why they need to tear this nigger down and get him out of our town. We don't want him around our white people, our white children. We don't want him conducting business here. And they did things to literally, to try to pull me down, and stuff. And like I said, the one guy who was there, he was an ex-white supremacist. Like I said, claimed he was still an ex-white supremacist. But, and I was, when he came in and he said, hey, look, I got all these tattoos. And, he's like, he was afraid that I wasn't going to teach him because he said he's not like that anymore. He used to be white. I said, man, I don't care. And he's just like, wow, really? And I was like, yeah, I'm like, I don't care, dude. It's martial arts. You come in here to learn, besides, those type of things will help. But anyhow, so this guy flying right at me. You gonna come over here too? If anything, the animals like me. He's just sitting there, he's swimming towards me. And he's talking to me. I was just gonna say, so you ever see that movie, Mars Attacks? And they go, rat, 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 rat. The aliens. Hey, buddy. You can't come over here? It's amazing. This is not like a feeding place over here. Because if it was, you would see all those ducks coming over towards me. Because it would be kind of like, this guy just caught himself a monster of a fish over here. Alright, stay on task, I gotta go on task. And you're still back here just hanging out. Are you comfortable? Do you want to get in the van and ride with me? I'll take good care of you. Be my little road buddy. So, this duck, just over here, just hanging out. He's not that far from me either. That's weird. Okay, so, yeah, where was I? All right, so look, the guy told me, the white supremacist guy that was at my school, that, they call that place Chef Tucky, because, and he told me, he said, because my wife was white, that, there's a lot of people, he told me, he said, there's a lot of people in this town that don't like that. They talk, and because he hear things, he say, hey, they don't like seeing you up here with a white woman. He literally told me that. When we first opened the store, business there, people came by there and they said, oh, you'll be closed down in a few months. Nobody's going to come here. And I knew what they were alluding to, but I dealt with it. I did. Look, I work, 80 to 100 hours a week taking care of, disabled people. I mean, I still have my karate school. I still teach. I go teach a guy today in a wheelchair, in fact. But where I work now, I work with a lot of disabled people, and there's a lot of, if you notice, there's a lot of black people who work in that industry as caregivers and stuff. And one of the women that I work with, she's black, and she is straight up racist, and she don't like me at all, and there's just that racism, that I have to deal with, and like I said, it's typically, I don't get it from black men, right? But there are black men out there. And there's a guy who has a channel, and he talks about, all he says is white people are evil, and, white people are, you know, not from here, they're from another planet, and they're evil, and that they're an abomination, and that the universe is, space is mostly black, so that must mean that all beings all over the universe are black or darker skinned, but white people don't have melanin in their skin, so they're the devil, they're evil. And he gets away with this stuff online. He gets to say this on YouTube. If you switch that around and you have a white person saying, you know, about black people, and you know, and saying that, you know, it's the hypocrisy of, you know, the social media and the way the system is set up. I need to close this out. Anyhow, it's what's made the everything worse in this country, and made the relations between, you know, black and white worse, is the media itself on both sides. Fox 100% definitely is fueling and helping fuel that machine, that hate machine of the white neo-Nazi supremacists. I mean, you know that they're not watching anything else but that. Well, they're watching that for a reason. And the same thing on the other side. You know, the black people who are racist in the other channel, you know, the CNN, it's the same thing. They're fueling that hatred, and they drum up a lot of fear, right? Like it's all about, it's not really so much as going out to try to make the other side, black people, angry. It's more about making them afraid, and through their fear makes them angry, right? Like it's all about trying to make them afraid, you know. And there's things I can't say on here, obviously, because you know that both of those stations, you know, they control everything. In fact, I think they control YouTube, you know. So because I'm pretty sure, like, I think right around 2015, 2016, something like that, they said that that YouTube was bought out by I'm not sure, I could be wrong, that it was pretty much bought out by big news. So when you see a lot of censorship and stuff like that's going on here, well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense, because, you know, it's owned by the same people who run the media. So, and they're probably not gonna let me say any of this. Little fishies right there, a whole bunch of little fish. They just keep coming up here. Seen a bunch of them coming over here. Well, he went, oh, he was asleep. You were asleep, weren't you? Very good. That's a close mouth. Going to sleep. Nothing makes me more angry than animal abuse, right? Like, that makes me extremely angry. Abusing the weak, you know, hurting people who are weaker. And okay, so there's another guy who used to be on YouTube, and they took him down, Richie from Boston, and he used to boast all this bullshit all the time about how he was, you know, he has some good things, but then he would say stupid things that would just, like, maybe go, yeah, okay, whatever, you're a liar. Oh, you know, I go out and I protect people and I do all this, and he talks about all these things that he's done for people and stuff, you know, and you know, how he does. Anybody who boasts and says those things are usually liars, you know, like, I don't believe that shit. And it's like, why are you looking for a pat on the back if you've done those things? I've done many things in my life that are good, as well as I've done some really stupid, boneheaded things, but I've done good things. But I don't talk about them because I don't need to, right? Like, it's just whatever. I shouldn't even go on that. But anyhow, yeah, guys, that's the only way to move forward, is neutrality. And neutrality is just letting people say what they feel, you know, and then go from there. And it has to come from, not from the black trying to educate the white, or the white trying to educate the black on their feelings, but the white trying to educate the white about their understanding what black people are going through. And in the opposite, for black people to come out and educate other black people and say, hey man, you know, look, this is how, you know, when you do this and you act this way, you know, this is why. This helps fuel that fear from white people and make them think that we're all just, you know, like that. And it helps make them, you know, like, it's so they're not having those conversations. And some are, you know, but there's just not enough. So yeah, I've been waiting for the race war my entire life. I knew it was coming. I think that the race war is actually, you guys are gonna, I said this is gonna be unpopular. It's actually, it's inevitable, right? And it's gonna happen. And it has to happen because a lot of people who are angry and hateful are gonna die on both sides. And then hopefully those who are neutral and just kind of stayed out of this shit will survive, you know? Maybe go back to nature. Work on that. I wonder if I can pet this guy. Let's see here. You gonna let me pet you? It's okay. Look at that. This is not a pet. It's a wild goose. He flew in from over there and then swam all the way across. And I saw him swim, walked up through those ducks, walked all the way over here, checked me out and make sure I was okay, and just sat right down next to me. He looks tired. Looks like he's gonna go to sleep. There's another bird. And people may think that because I talk about a lot of stuff with the bird worship and the Annunaki and stuff, that I may hate birds or whatever. That's just not true. And I don't hate the Annunaki either. There are people who want to be, they want to be controlled by that system. They want that system. They need that system. Right? The only way that they can function is within the system that was set up for them by those powers that be, that, you know, the Annunaki. They need that, right? And there's no, unless you wiped out the entire Annunaki and you wiped out all those people, it ain't never gonna go away. That's never gonna go away. But the war is always going to be. There's always going to be that war, because as long as they are running things on certain planets and there's that, you know, delusion that they're appointed by a god. And I mean, look, if a couple of Anunnaki landed in front of me, these big, beautiful looking angelic beings, I'm not going to get this, oh my gosh, those are angels from heaven or spirits. I'm going to realize and recognize them for what they are. You're just beings from another planet, from multiple different planets that are here, that are very beautiful. And, you know, I just don't want to be under the Anunnaki rule. Like, we've seen how that goes, right? Like, we've seen what it all, you know, what all leads. I shouldn't even be talking about it because it's not what this video is about. But yeah, I'm not a bird hater. He's just sitting there chilling. I don't know if I should take him with me. I don't know. He let me pet him. I've never pet a wild goose before, and I got birds that are just coming. They're all like, this guy's talking to me. These ducks are over here. You know, they're not that far from me. Should I walk over there and try to pet one? I don't know. This video went on for a long time. I really wasn't trying to make it go on that long. Big old fish over there. It's weird. Oh, by the way, I know I'm talking for a long time, but I made that video where I said 172 was the last. I think it was like the 17th, or was it 27th? 17th. It wasn't the last 172 day for the month. It's actually, or the year. Today is the last, or yesterday was the last 172 day for the month, because it was 7/27/2021. However, we still have December, which is going to have a couple of 172 days in it, because you're going to have 12/1, 12/7, 12/17, 12 27. So those would be the last. So it'll go into the last of the year, the end of the year, the 172 phenomenon. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to, God, I've been going on a lot with this video. Have you guys been paying attention to, but there's also that giant meteor that's, but you are just going off over there. There's also that giant meteor, that 721 or what? No, wait, 172, 271, because it's in reverse. Just so you know, the biggest meteor that's ever been recorded in human history that's coming towards Earth is the reverse of 172. Remember, I keep talking about that 172 phenomenon, and there's been a lot of stuff that just keeps coming up. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to remember to bring that up about the 172. Obviously, also too, the Twin Towers, they were built on 17 acres. 2 towers on 17 acres, 172. You know, and then when the buildings went down, there was building 1, building 2, and building 7, 172. So yeah, the 172 thing, I think, is something that people should look into. You know, obviously, if you start, like I said, with the 1972, and I'm going to be bringing up the video here pretty soon with the 1972 2020 connections, because there is a mass amount. Like the list is huge, guys. The list of 1972 things that either began or ended on 1972, and the things, and then, oh, you getting up? You getting ready? You ready to take off? You leaving? You taking your nap? You feel comfortable now? You getting ready to go? You let me know it's time to go. I need to get going too. He's cleaning himself. Or she. Are you a male or female? I don't know. But the list is really big, and I'm gonna make a video of that and show like how many things, like you literally could have predicted stuff that was going to happen in 2020 by looking at 1972, and I proved that quite a few times during 2020. I proved it in video, and I'm going to show I'm going to do a video on evidence showing my predictions and how they all came true, and how you can see the video stamped date, and then all of a sudden, and then it ends up happening. And like I said then too, it wasn't stretching his wings out. You ready to go fly? And how they and how you literally could just see the predictions by looking at 1972. It was so easy. And you could have predicted 9/11 had people had looked into 1972 and understood the time hack. They literally could have predicted the 9/11, how it was going to happen. And you can't see that video here on YouTube. You're going to have to go to the other platform to go see that video. Which is funny, because I put that video up on that platform over there, and like overnight it went up to like over 100 views, and I just got onto that platform, and I wasn't out like talking to anybody. I just put it up there and just put the title on, just left it alone, and you know, and just boom, like I think the first day there was like 80 views on it, like just like that, because there was no shadow banding over there, right? There's nothing. It's just like people, they search or whatever and something, and it comes up and they can just see it, right? And they can say, oh well, here's something, here's another take, let me see what this guy has to say, and they just look at it, right? That's the only way forward, right? Is to not suppress information of any kind, even if it's disinformation. Like as long as it's not the government doing it to you, but it's just people who have, let people look at the stuff and let them make a conscious decision. But the biggest problem is people won't look at other angles, and there's not enough debate. When somebody makes wild ass claims, just let them get platforms that they can debate on. And then people can say, okay, whether they believe this person or not, because there should be some debates on when people make crazy ass claims or whatever. And if the debates turn out to where this person's claims are accurate, then more people then we can get closer to the truth, right? That's the only way you can get closer to the truth. So anyhow, guys, wow, this is 40-minute video. Whew. I literally was not trying to put up a 40-minute video. I just really wanted to talk about the race relations things that's going on, the race war that's coming up. If you haven't watched my video, I posted up a while ago, I think about 2 months ago, that was what I said civil war, global war, galactic war, right? Like, there'll be a civil war, there'll be a global war, and then there'll be a galactic war. And then once all of that happens, whatever's left, hopefully, is the best part of humanity and not the worst of it, right? Like, it's an inevitable thing, guys. It's not a, oh, yeah. Are you getting ready to fly? You gonna take off? Can you give me a high five? Let's see if you come over to me. Will you come to me? Yeah? No? I mean, he's not hurt. He or she's not hurt. Not injured. So he just came over to me just to hang out, listen to me talk. Now, if I sit down, you sit down. But when I stand up, you stand up. I've never seen anything like it. I was standing up, and then the goose stood up. Oh, what's that? Something going on over there? I stood up, and then you stood up, and now I sit back down to look at you, and now you sit down. I'm gonna stand up again. You gonna stand up again? Come on, let's go for a walk. I guess I got me a friend. Alright, guys, and well, hell, I think, well, we're at 41 minutes here. Maybe I'll just go ahead and let this play out for 48 minutes. Yeah, so, you know, I'm just gonna go, I should just wrap it up with the rest of the stuff, with what happened on the 6th and stuff like that. Look, here's the thing. Both sides are playing the humans against each other. And if you haven't figured it out by now, then you deserve everything you've got coming to you. Like, you literally, in the end, I know you guys seen many, many movies where, like, something's, like, there's, like, this whole plot that's all built up for at the end, you realize that somebody was misleading the entire group the whole time. And, oh my gosh, you know, now it all makes sense. Now everything comes together. Now we go back and reflect, and we look at, and they're like, you know, one of those movies that you got to go back and you got to, like, damn it, now I got to watch that movie all over again. Like The Usual Suspect, right? With Kevin Spacey. After you watch it the first time and you get to the end, you're like, oh man. So then you got to go back and watch it all over again. Same thing, another Kevin Spacey one, because he's really good at that, is the movie Seven, right? Seven, that's a 172 thing, by the way. But anyhow, because one bad guy, you know, 7 deadly sins, and there's 2 police officers that go after him. But it has nothing to do with the ones. I'm just saying, like, I could bring up absurd, stupid stuff like that about 172, but I don't. Because the other day I was watching, I was like, oh man, that's like 172, that's funny. But it really has nothing to do with it. It's just a movie. But, you know, because, yeah, Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. So anyhow, yeah, you're being played by both sides, right? You're being played. You can see it on the news. You can see it from both the main candidates, both the presidents. They literally are playing both sides. And if you haven't watched my video I just posted about the presidents and UFOs, go watch that video. And look at all the presidents who actually come out and speak out about UFOs and who have said stuff. That's very, very, it's very brave of them, right? Like, you just can't, like, especially in this country where there's so much to try to bring it down, you know, it's very brave of them. And then you see these last 2 presidents literally dodge it, right? I've told you guys many, many times, they're part of the 1972 time hack. And how many times I gotta tell you? But in the end, in the very end, when the final act, which we're in the final act now, this is the final act, definitely, without a doubt. In the end, it's all gonna come out, and people are gonna realize, like, oh my God, neither one of those guys are who we thought they were. But it's already too late, because so many humans have already, you know, killed one another. There's so much, and like, it's just, it's such a play. It's such a play. It's not even funny. And it's like people are not looking at it. Like, they're not risking anything at all. There's nothing at risk for them. Nothing. And he sat back down. They have nothing. They're risking nothing. But you, as just a regular American, are risking everything. For what? Because your political agenda, your political side, because your race, because your skin color is different, because your culture is different inside of a culture, because that's really what it comes down to. It's a culture inside of a culture. And you guys are risking everything. You're risking everything, and these people are risking nothing. And I've said this many times before. Like people who are drumming up that war against China and stuff like that. Want to get a nuclear war going, stuff like that. If a bad war like that happens, the Democrats and the Republicans are all going to go where it's the safest, which I've said this many times as well. You're safer in the earth than you are on the surface of the earth. That's the reason why they talk about going underground. The Republicans and the Democrats, all of them, they're all going to go, and I mean the political parties, they're going to go underground together in the same bunker. While the rest of you up here, especially even once the Civil War goes down, you won't find those people. They won't be anywhere to be found. You think these Chuck Schumers and Nancy Pelosi's and all these other Mitch McConnell, you think they're going to be up there rallying the troops and stuff like that, and we're gonna help fight our side? And they're all gonna go together underground in the same bunker once the Civil War starts. They'll all be down underground together, hanging out, watching everything on monitors. And when most of you wipe each other out, the little spot bots are gonna come up. They're gonna clean up the mess, and then it's just gonna be a whole new business. It's gonna be a whole new system. They don't need. That's why people talk about there's going to be aliens are going to come here and make humans slaves. Why the hell would you think that when you already know that humans are being replaced by other humans, by robots? I mean, the absurdity in the caveman thinking of the humans is just really, really stupid and really bad, right? I don't know. There's just no words for it. And you're up. Yeah, we're going to get out of here. We're pushing to 48 minutes. And he must have knew that I was going to leave. Anyhow, guys, with that, enjoy the rest of the time that you have left. Look at you. You're amazing.